The plan was like, we're going to run it Friday morning for an hour. We're going to give a free beanie. It's like a $50 product with every purchase over 100. So like a good value for the price that you have to spend. And it was at like 10 a.m. And I'm like, if it goes well, then we'll plan to do it again in the evening. And then we'll plan to do it again on Cyber Monday. And the first time that we did it, we were averaging like, I'm not trying to flex by any means. I'm literally just trying to give you guys numbers so you can understand these things. We're doing like 50K an hour between the 8 a.m. hour, the 9 a.m. hour. The first drop that we did this, we jumped up to $142,000 in that hour. So we went from like 50s to 142K in an hour. And in that hour, we ran at a 9.2 MER.
They basically trained the algorithm to be like, look for specific assets that are talking about this and amplify them. Like in a normal instance, it would not show some new shit over like pre-existing stuff that had a bunch of social proof, right? So like, that's why they're showing this, because it's under basically the new like Andromeda / Gem, and it's a different asset, and they cranked them that way, and it was built to show new.
One, which is like very simple, but I saw across like solid gift giving brands, it's like the exact same shot, but like across several brands is like people holding the product in front of a Christmas tree, like up, just in front of a Christmas tree. Very simple to do. You could probably do it with Gemini in 4 seconds. So like if you still need, I don't know when this is going up. I think there's still a little bit of time before the shipping cutoff, but like slap it into Gemini and get it in front of a Christmas tree. Damn it, it's working.
And now, let's take a listen to the Scalability School podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Scalability School podcast, your favorite podcast that you listen to while you're biking, gardening, walking your dog, driving, rowing. I don't know what else do people do when they listen.
Shoveling last week
Shoveling
in Wisconsin.
in the Midwest. What else do people do when they listen to podcasts? Well, wherever this finds you, we're glad that you're here listening to us in your ears. So we're grateful for all the tens of listeners that we have. And surprise, surprise, those of you that weren't watching on video, special guest Zach Stuck on the podcast. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. Pretty successful. Does great at a Twitter beef. Very famous in that realm. That's how most people know him. Loves to get kind of stir the pot and get things going there. He is coming back off of paternity leave temporarily for a special Black Friday, Cyber Monday recap and tactics to pull forward episode, which is what we're talking about today. Zach, I don't know if you've ever been on a podcast before, but welcome.
Thanks for having me here, guys. It's great. It's great to be here. I appreciate it. Big fan of the pod, so excited to get into it.
One of 10.
Yeah, everybody is.
That's how it goes, right?
A lot of high ratings. Yeah, that's right. We should talk about, do you want to do a 25-minute intro like people do on freaking podcasts all the time?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us your entire life story about how you got into digital marketing? And every time that happens, I'm like, snooze.
I'll gas you guys up for the next 25 minutes after that then. So
yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. You should be like, all right, this intro is going to take, people should say that on a podcast, this intro is going to take 35 minutes, and then just fast forward until you want to hear real shit at 36 minutes. Okay, so we're talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, tactics to pull forward, how it was. There's a lot of stuff that we can get into. Zach, I think, first of all, you had this very cool, before we get into that, there's a discussion about, the flat fee thing that people have been talking about quite a bit. Let's get into talking about this. Flat fee versus percentage of spend as it relates to Google. Why do you not do branded search? Everybody's wondering. Let's talk about this and your why you wanted to get this going, why you want to talk about it, because clearly you're passionate about it.
Okay, so the context is I usually just go on Twitter to complain or bitch about things that I can't say directly to people that I'm working with. So that's where this started. So we have a Google agency that we hired for one of the brands that started on a 15K flat fee. So pretty solid flat fee out of the gate. Wanted 8% of ad spend. And I said, no, let's start with the flat fee, see how the first month goes. Came back after Black Friday, right? Which is the great time to come back to your clients and ask for a bunch of money. And basically was like, yeah, we crushed. We scaled spend, we doubled spend, and we should move over to this 8% fee. And I'm like, you know what? That would be like, I don't know, 40 grand, 45 grand. We're not going to do that. So also explain how this spend scaled so much. It's all branded search. Basically. So that prompted me to basically go on Twitter and rant about how I think specifically Google agencies should be flat fee based, because Yet to right now, I mean, it's Friday the 5th at 4:14 p.m. and I've yet to receive any real proof from any Google agency and D2C that they can run prospecting at scale at profitable on new customer acquisition. So my point being that Google is not as much of an incremental channel, and I think that because of that, agencies should not charge a percentage of spend, and they should be on a flat fee. So that's kind of my take. Kevin Simonson, whenever you're ready to share some results, you don't listen to our podcast, but I'll make sure to clip this section and send it to you. Uh, I'm ready. I'm ready to see this case study that we've been waiting on for 48 hours plus now. So
I mean,
that's
this
where it
is, I
started.
just say, I'll say that since I've known you for a long time, Brad can maybe chime in on this too, but like, this is not a new thing. This has always bothered you, for the record. Like,
Yeah,
I
this
remember
is.
you and I have talked about this. This is like maybe 7 years. Like we've
Oh,
talked
yeah.
minimum. Like this has bothered you for a while. So I'm just saying, this is a thing that you've.
It's very
Is,
top of mind
it's
this week.
yes,
So
yeah, of course, especially. Yeah. By the way, I'm the owner of that agency. I just haven't told you.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm the one that's trying to get the fees. That's what I call that the Foxwell percentage. Yeah. Brad,
It's
any
nice.
Yeah.
take?
Yeah,
Well,
I'd
it's
love
just,
your
I,
points.
I mean, I think I largely agree. I'm not against like percentage-based structures for different types of things, but and we have very few of them. But at the same time, I agree. Like the issue with the more than average Google agency in particular is like that's not what's scaling. I mean, we've had instances where Google has been incremental, and I'm sure there's actually people who are legit who have had a couple of those cases as well. But I think, and maybe you could say it's about Meta and other channels too, but like the average Google agency, and which is maybe the average agency, is like it is brand. Every time we do a Google audit, it's like holy shit, this says non-brand, it's all brand. It's like come on, what are we doing here? So yeah, I largely agree. But what I was curious about is like, did anybody say anything useful back? Like I know there's a lot of back. There's 100,000 views right now. There's a lot of replies. Did anything like spark your interest or no? Like, okay, nobody changed my mind. Nobody said anything useful here. Just curious.
No one changed my mind.
No
I think
receipts. I know that.
there's no receipts. I have like a couple voice notes from an Australian agency owner. I have a bunch of DMs basically of people just saying thanks for the entertainment over the week. But no, I've not seen anything. I would love to. I would love to be wrong here. And I mean, for what it's worth, like going back to what I said is where is it? I think I said most. Where is it? Google agencies should be able to flat fees, paying a percentage of spend. Yeah, I mean, like, show me the receipts. Show me YouTube that's incremental. Show me non-branded search that's incremental. I would love to see it. I'd love to be proven wrong. I just haven't seen it. We've audited, I don't know, 700 to 1,000 brands at Homestead over the last 7 years. Never seen it done successfully prior to us even like looking at things. Homestead doesn't even run Google anymore because it wasn't a channel that we felt like we could move the needle. Like basically most brands just put it on autopilot and we were just charging extra fees for it. And we didn't feel like that was fair. So yeah, I don't know. That's my take. I think it's just it's a tricky channel. And there's people, I mean, like there's the team over at House that had some feedback. I haven't seen any receipts from them yet, but again, would love to would love to. There's some people in the Foxwell Founders membership that are agency owners that run Google, and again, like I'd love to see. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. Would love to see.
House, feel free to sponsor Hollow's next incrementality test for
Dude.
free. You know,
I will.
Absolutely.
I will happily. Yes, House. If you're listening, I will send this to you also. If you want to give me $100,000 to spend on Google and try and prove that it's incremental, I would love to. I would love to do it and would love to share the numbers. Happy to be the guinea pig. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, let's transition to talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And if anybody has thoughts on this, you know where to find us. So you did a flash sale strategy that you were texting Brad and I about over the weekend. Free gift over a certain dollar amount, additional percentage off. How did this work? And you know, I know that it crushed for you. So what were the details?
Okay, so the thought was, how did this even come up? I think I saw some random company doing like an hour giveaway. I don't know what it was for. It wasn't a D2C brand. It was just like I don't even know. Something I saw on Facebook or like Instagram as I was scrolling. They're like, oh, for the next hour, we're giving away this. It might have even been like some apparel brand. I have no idea. I can't remember where it came from. But I reached out to Max, our CMO of Hala, was like, yo, we need to try a flash sale where we time box a free gift with purchase versus just like saying we're going to do a free gift with purchase for all of Black Friday, which that margin hit is pretty substantial when you basically bake it out over the course of those 24 hours, because really what you're trying to do is you're trying to offset how much you're going to spend in ad spend in that hour versus like the revenue that you might get versus the cost of that free gift. So to kind of like run you guys through it, we ran a flash sale for the plan was like we're going to run it Friday morning for an hour. We're going to give a free beanie. It's like a $50 product with every purchase over 100. So like a good value for the price that you have to spend. And it was at like 10 a.m. And I'm like, if it goes well, then we'll plan to do it again in the evening. And then we'll plan to do it again on Cyber Monday. If it goes really well, the second time even. And the first time that we did it, we were averaging like, and again, I'm not trying to flex by any means. I'm literally just trying to give you guys numbers so you can understand these things. We're doing like 50K an hour between the 8 a.m. hour, the 9 a.m. hour. The first drop that we did this, we jumped up to $142,000 in that hour. So we went from like 50s to 142K in an hour. And in that hour, we ran at a 9.2 MER on Shopify. So like we spent whatever that ends up being, right? So like we spent 20 grand and we did 140,000 in 1 hour.
What
So
happened to new customer in that? Like, can you see new customer revenue? How did that change?
new customer revenue went from averaging in the morning. So let's see. It went from averaging like 77 down to new customer was 61. So returning customer definitely came through
Interesting.
and took advantage of it. And then because that went so well, we were like, let's run it again. Why not? So we like did it again at 6 p.m. Central, and we did 172 grand in that hour. In the previous hours before that were like in the 60s. So again, like we ran that hour at like a 9 MER. So for us, profitability, because we can look at it on an hourly basis, we did $70,000 in profit in that first 1 hour chunk, and then we did another $84,000 in profit in the second one. So when it comes to like cost of delivery, contribution margin, offsetting like your kind of goal for the day, this like flash sale, 1 hour, only email, SMS, absolutely crushed. So we did it again on Cyber Monday and saw similar results. But I think time boxing it, when then you know that you don't have to like spend a bunch more on ads during that whole day necessarily. It's just like you're going to run ads just like you normally would, and then you're going to do these like very quick hits. Can work great. And it also pulled revenue forward like earlier in the day for us, which was great. Same thing on Cyber Monday. It pulled revenue earlier in the day. It usually hits later at night. So we're like, hey, if we can get like a pop in revenue on Cyber Monday earlier in the day, we might be able to spend a little bit more and average out to the MER goal of like 3, which is our target for the days.
So
yeah.
what was your inclination of like you had these beanies made already, so you had an idea that you were going to do something with them, or you know what I mean? Like, well, you're not selling these, or are they?
So we are. We are selling.
You are
They're
selling
available.
them. Okay.
They're
okay.
available.
So,
So
these
the
are
thing that this was actually the interesting part about this is the offer that we run, or we're running, our evergreen offers like buy 3 get 3 free, and then for Black Friday, a week prior we jumped it down to buy 2 get 2, so an even better offer. The thing that's interesting about that is people weren't incorporating in the beanie as part of the buy 2 get 2. Like you could technically mix and match any item on the website to buy 2 get 2, but they weren't really utilizing the beanie. Where historically last year we ran a buy more, save more on items. And so the beanie was actually selling better last year as a percentage of sales. So we ordered 25,000 of these beanies. And I'm like, hey, like they're $10 a piece cogs. They're expensive to make. They're 100% alpaca. It's not a cheap thing to do, made in the US. Let's try to utilize this inventory that's not selling as fast. That's still a great gift that people will probably like because of the holidays and time of year. And the fact that we're selling to people that want warm feet, they probably don't mind a beanie either, as just like the product to use for it. So kind of hit multi-purpose on that front.
Yeah, and there's like bunch of different things that probably ended up playing into this working, right? You said the 1 hour urgency. And then the second time you do it later in the day or the next day, it's like, okay, it literally is an hour. Like they're not playing games. Like it's an hour. I missed it the first time. I don't want to miss it the next time. Did you guys exclude existing customer, like people who who already bought the Black Friday offer? Do you know?
No,
Okay,
no,
interesting. Because like
no.
so we did this. We did this with a handful of brands too, and I can share some of the numbers for a couple. And we suggested to them like do that just to like not piss people off. But I don't know if they needed to be worried
We
about it
were
or not. Or just
going
like
to.
hedging.
Yeah, we were going to, and I was like, we need to hit a pretty big Black
Yeah.
Friday to hit our targets for the year. So I was kind of like full send. But yeah, I think traditionally that's like probably what you should do is what you just
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Cool. I can okay, so here's one that we saw. We did this across a couple people. Their average kind of they 3x as well in the 1 hour period in revenue, but they saw a jump in new and returning customer revenue. Now this specific example brand, and there's a couple that kind of fit this bill where they are new customer, which like Hollow is pretty new customer driven, right? Or like mostly new customer driven. So they like had some cleaning out of people who have just been on the list. They signed up on the pop-up and they've just been there for a super long time and they just haven't purchased. And so a new customer for them popped as well. They both popped to a similar degree, new and returning customer. They just do way more new customer. The other thing, so their MER also went up like 4x, 3 to 4x over the next hour. And then the other thing that's really interesting, so they did an AOV kind of gating as well. Their AOV went up 30%, 40% for the next like hour, which like that's a meaningful jump. Like people were willing to earn the free gift. If that's a 30, call it if it's a 10, 20, $30 jump in AOV, that probably alone pays for the free gift that you're including on a cost basis. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's really easy to get addicted to these types of things. So it's like during Black Friday, it probably makes a ton of sense. And then maybe you can think of like different flash sales. Like how are you going to pull forward this to like the rest of the year? Because like I think it's cool to recap Black Friday and like put this in the bucket for next year. But how are you going to use this throughout the rest of the year into
I'll
next
probably
year?
just run like a longer period throughout the day. So it'll be like for the next 4 hours, get this free gift with purchase type of thing. Because like the 1 hour time boxing crushes during that day. Yeah. Buyer intent for average consumer is obviously way up, and people are getting hammered. Dude, we send so many emails and SMS on Friday. We sent 9 emails on Friday, which is absolutely absurd for Hollow. So yeah, like 9 emails, 4 texts. It was crazy. We've never done anything to that scale before. Obviously it worked. So
Klaviyo
whatever.
stock price is pumped right now. They're like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Well,
For
I mean,
sure.
I think a lot of it is that intent of if you're going to get, it's a gifting time anyway, right? Especially it's like, it's easy. I think it's an easy thing to do with the sale. If you know there's a sale coming around, it's good. And yeah, the complimentary product, like I think that can have absolutely massive impact as you saw. So I think it's a good thing that people can take.
Did
forward
you
for
like
sure.
design the emails out, or were they just like a plain text ripped together super quick? Out of
All
curiosity.
9 of those, or the ones for the
No,
giveaway?
the free, yeah, the gift.
Those were plain text that we ripped together because the idea basically we put together that week, and like we did the same thing for my other brand too, much smaller scale than Hollow, but those we threw together the day of Black Friday because it was like plain text and SMS because it did so well for Hollow that morning. We're like, oh shoot, we should try this again for another one.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, plain text and SMS. That's the nice thing about those channels is like you can just cook on them day of if you really want to. Yeah.
So with that, you were obviously utilizing hourly pasting forecast tracker, like trackers and everything. So how do you, during this period, how are you keeping track of it? What does it look like? What are the things that you're paying attention to that you feel like had the most impact for you and that will have the most impact as it goes forward for the business?
I can share how our sheet came together if that's helpful.
I'd love to hear, Brad.
So we have an idea of, obviously we have a goal of revenue that we set, revenue and spend that we set for clients on the month, and then you break it down kind of by expectation of the day for the entire month of the entire month of November through December. And the way that we do that is you take the goal, and then you go grab Shopify revenue by day for November through December, and then you just basically like what percentage of sales for November happened on Black Friday. Okay, cool. That's you just use the multiplication there. You just match up the percentage of sales. It's not perfect from a spend perspective because like spend might precede revenue, and the same thing is true on an hourly basis. But what it does is it gives you a bit of a daily expectation for both revenue and spend and how you want those to occur. So we start by doing that daily, and then for the Black Friday stretch specifically, we broke down particularly Thursday through Monday by hour. So same thing. You just go to Shopify, you check by the hour, and the columns that we had was literally by hour, then spend by hour, revenue by hour, cumulative spend, cumulative revenue, and then MER. The really nice thing about cumulative is you could go look at, okay, on my sheet at noon, I'm supposed to be spending $6,000. I'm supposed to have whatever in revenue, $30,000 in revenue. Where am I actually at? And if you are ahead, cool. You can literally open up your bids. You can add budget. You can do whatever you need to do in that moment. Or if you need to pull back, you need to do something else. You need to change your offer. You need to do whatever. You could see literally by the hour how you were pacing, and that's based on the previous years. If you want to get real fancy with it, you could grab like the previous several years to like average it out a little bit more. But that's kind of how we did it. The one caveat to this is you need to be careful about like when you were sending emails and SMS. Because like Zach, if you do this next year and you're like, oh shit, I forgot we did this free gift thing. Like you're not going to 3x spend for 1 hour. So you just got to kind of keep those things in mind. But that's how we broke down our sheet.
Yep. We do the same thing. It's basically forecasted revenue, spend, MER, AMER by hour. So same thing. Same thing. We try to automate it if we can, and then if that breaks, which it did for us, we have our head of growth just like filling it out every hour and staying up till like 2 a.m. So yeah.
There was a big topic about people saying that, on this podcast, we suggested that people use Evergreen. And then the big narrative I heard was actually like separate BFCM assets worked better. Do you guys see that as well?
Yeah, I remember very specifically, I pulled up before when we did that episode, I went through like 9 to 10 brands and I said, here's the breakdown. And I gave the breakdown. And like there was some were more Black Friday heavy and some were more Evergreen heavy. And I think the average was Evergreen spent more. But what I remember, I said something along, we can go back, we got receipts. But I said something, I didn't make a direct suggestion, but I said something along the lines of, if you're going to do Black Friday ads or you're going to do promo ads, like you got to lean into the moment and send them into the warehouse to record something, put them next to a Christmas tree and make it look like it's gift wrapped and packaged. VO3 is going to probably have some crazy, I'm sure Santa doing crazy shit this year is going to be very popular with VO3. You're probably already cooking something up. And like Nano Banana, it probably makes it really easy to get some holiday photos that are relevant. But like, I think you got to really lean into that moment because that's what I saw was the top spending stuff was like really leaning into those moments with something unique, not just like slapping an overlay. For our clients, like we made our creative strategist put together this like awesome board of like, here's all the ideas across a creative diversity like spectrum that we can do. So it's like the whiteboard ugly ads to the really pristine like product lifestyle stuff. And it was just like this grid, this matrix of like, here's what creative diversity could look like from a static and a video perspective. And they just like pumped it out. Like a lot of our clients had this stuff 2 weeks in advance because we were just super prepared for that. Black Friday, I think almost all of our clients had more spend into Black Friday specific assets than last year. I have 2 examples pulled up. One of them spent 50% more into Black Friday ads this year. Another one spent 300% more, like as a percentage of the total spend. So like their aggregate spend went up, but Black Friday spent so much more than Evergreen did this year, which I thought was really interesting. I don't really have a thesis as to why yet. But
here's my thesis on this. So, I did a podcast, which I can send anyone if you email it to me or whatever. It's also on the foxwelldigital.com/blog. There's an episode on perpetual traffic where I talked about Gem and basically them coming out and talking about this and like the new ad serving system. And one of the theories that I have is that like they basically trained the algorithm to be like, look for specific assets that are talking about this and amplify them. And it's obviously like what that's so because there's no reason that it would show some new, like in a normal instance, it would not show some new shit over like pre-existing stuff that had a bunch of social proof. Right. So like, that's why they're showing this because it's under basically the new like Andromeda/Gem, ad serving. And it's a different asset and they cranked them that way. And it was built to show new.
Interesting. So we did Friday to Monday like 900 grand is what we spent on Meta over that period of time for Hollow. 384,000 of that 900 was BFCM specific creatives. 42%, 43% of the spend. That's way higher than it was last year. I think it was like closer to like
Absolutely.
20%, 17 to 20% if I recall right. I could pull it, but yeah, insane. The one thought I had, and you might have hit on this just now, and I might have missed you saying this: Reels content, no social proof, no ad copy. Like,
Yeah, I think that's some of it too. I think that
yeah,
absolutely, like
so like
inventory
there's
shifting
no, yeah, I
into
think it's
that.
like inventory type of asset,
Yeah,
what's serving. So
yeah,
also, if you're
absolutely.
shooting more 9x16 content now than you were 3 months ago, you might have had more 9x16 reels format content for BFCM, which is why it favored it. So for sure, for sure.
Did you guys pump out way more Black Friday? You have your baseline where you've probably been up on assets. You've probably, whatever, you've probably 3x the output year over year in content, probably more. Did you create even more? Because like, as I'm looking at it, there's a correlation. I don't know that that's necessarily the thing to draw it to, but like, we made way more Black Friday specific assets this year as well. So that could have helped. And like I said, I think we nailed the diversity in a lot of cases, but did you guys end up producing more for Black Friday specifically?
Trying to look at, we have 315 Black Friday ads that we launched. So yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, and I think
yeah.
that's a smart thing to do, and I think that's a huge takeaway. That the system is smart enough to look at this in terms of that diversification. The placements are there. Reels inventory is, at least 5% of inventory, 10% at least now climbing, and especially in the highest value users in the US. So it makes sense that they're going to continue to show things more there. And I think that obviously, going into the creative diversity that we all talk about under the Andromeda ad serving, like it makes sense. So a narrative you could see happening in 26 on Black Friday is going to be kind of a similar idea, and the idea that organic plays into it as well. Since that's something we're talking about more.
Here's a
Um,
crazy stat. So we had 315 Black Friday BFCM ads live over that weekend. We had 407 evergreen ads live. It was almost half of our ad library was also BFCM ads. So to your point, like treating new creative, that's probably why it also ate even more, 40% of the spend.
Yeah, I'm looking at a brand where we had last year, they did like a fifth of their active ads were Black Friday. This year was literally even. Like it was even. And that's the one where it grew 50% from that example that I was giving.
I was going to ask, do you know either in any of your examples, either of you, like if at the same time you were just doing big like campaign structure in terms of wide campaigns, not necessarily finding like, you're not necessarily doing segment targeting, you're letting the creative do the targeting and you're just continuing to open it up, right? Like that's what you're doing for structure in these instances. Like I think sometimes when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes around, the old tactics come out a little bit, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do a little bit more sub audience. I'm going to do a little bit more previous customer, which I think is okay. But for those that really scaled, it's like you're just opening it up and it's going where it's going to go, and that's it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I did not pull out like the reach campaign for retargeting traffic, but maybe I should have. That was an old school one that I think we tried it like 2 years ago.
I do those and
Yeah,
then charge on percentage of spend.
yeah. There you
So
go. Yeah, yeah. Me too.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, me and Meta have a deal. Yeah, no, campaign structure was super straightforward. It's like Black Friday specific campaigns in most cases, and jam literally all of the creative into one ad set. That's how we do it. We started a lot of them like min ROAS. We had min ROAS in many cases. 1 or 7 day click. We had some cost cap campaigns, and then we just like had some. I know there's actually a decent amount of chatter. I think David Herman started it about incremental attribution during it. We saw some decent success with that. So like we just had a bunch of backup stuff ready, but most of the spend went through min ROAS and cost cap, which is kind of our MO. So not really surprising for us at least. We did do a little retention
We
stuff, which I can talk about the retention thing, but I can wait.
I'd love to hear about that, Brad. We
Me too.
did on the retention side, 20 grand to like a retargeting campaign of that 900 that I said. So yeah, I mean, like it's pretty much wide open. And again, like no account is the same, right? I'm looking at like 20 campaigns running over the course of the weekend in our account. You can't, no one way to do it all, I think is always the the synopsis after like we get down to the bottom of it. Like I think there's some good methodologies that you can definitely follow, but I don't know. I think every account's different.
Yeah, Brad, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, the retention campaign structure that we used that worked really well. And this has mostly worked well from like the entire year, but obviously this moment is a good one to use it. But retention campaign, 1 day click, set it up on min ROAS. We set the target like 2 times higher over the prospecting target just for incrementality reasons. And you don't like if you're running your prospecting at a break even, just as an example, and you set your ROAS target 2 times higher than that for min ROAS because of incrementality reasons. Like let's say that Meta is not as incremental on repeat customers as it is on new customers, just as an example, then you need to set it even higher than that. So we set it like something like 2 times higher, just from how to set the min ROAS there. We took all the top performing Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads. Then we also had a separate one for DPAs when clients had a larger catalog. So that ends up with 2 campaigns, and they just crushed. Like this added, we had some like I hate Twitter screenshots where people post like we got a 10x ROAS, like like why do you spend more money? But I'm not exaggerating. It was like we had campaigns running at a 10x, and like on retention campaigns, I don't feel as strongly about trying to spend into it because there's a much more limited audience. But it worked extremely well, particularly when clients had like a wider catalog. But in general, like people can come back and buy gifts for folks, and those did extremely well. We did see some differences in we don't like change landing pages a ton during this period, but if you already have like PDPs and collection pages and all different kinds of stuff, we saw in a few instances like the based on the customer, whether it was a new or returning customer, the actual destination mattered like a ton. So for new customers, if our clients had like a wider range, like the landing pages that were already working did really well. The direct PDP worked really well for the product that was shown in the ad, and then like a best sellers page crushed. What didn't work was it was like a Black Friday collection, which was sorted with like not the top selling products. It was just like, hey, these are really good deals. But for retention based audiences, that like Black Friday assortment was like, here's the best deals. Maybe you're a little bit more willing to explore different products that aren't the top selling. Huge difference. Like we're talking one spent 10 grand over that stretch, and one spent 20 grand, and it was just like completely different delivery for prospecting versus returning customers in the actual destination. Content was the exact same.
Brad, how did you across like your clients? Did you see MER change or AMER change much year over year?
It depends on like where they're at, but
We were literally
it was a
within
mixed bag.
single digit changes, which is crazy. MER was up 2.6% year over year, and NC ROAS was up 4%.
I
Which
mean,
is
that's crazy for you
gnarly.
guys with how much you're scaling too. Like you didn't have to sacrifice efficiency to get what I'm assuming is a lot of percentage
True.
growth.
AOV was only up 7%. So the one thing that we changed, and I think that this is actually a really important call out, is our AOV prior to BFCM with this offer. If I look at like the first like week or two of November, new customer AOV was 145. And I was under the impression that it was too high. And I'm like, hey, if someone's going to impulse purchase during this Black Friday period and they're going to hear about Holo for the first time and they're going to actually buy on like a literally within 1 hour click basis, which is what we want, we need a lower AOV. Like I think it's just too high for socks. $145 on socks. Like you're taking a bet on 6 pairs of these alpaca socks. Like I don't know. So that's why we rolled offer from 3 for 3 to 2 for 2. And I honestly believe that that is part of the success of why we had such a good BFCM is that we made the offer better, but it also, with that better offer, conversion rate popped. So like we offset it by then still keeping MER. Actually, MER went up like significantly. Like MER in the first 2 weeks of the month was like a 2.6, and then over Black Friday was a 3.15.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
like
it's like what you're going to take a chance on, you know?
totally,
Like,
yeah.
of like where your discretionary income for gift giving is, right? And I think it's
The
a great call.
the interesting thing is that I was talking to Connor from Ridge, and he was like, we do the opposite. We literally crank it so AOV goes higher over Black Friday. So I'll have to talk to him and see. I don't have any update. I know they had a banger year, but I'm curious to see like what they saw year over year by doing that, because we literally thought to try the exact opposite of what they did. But
So let's talk about specific creative examples that really worked. Right. I think this is something people want to get into. So we talked about the spend there. We talked about founder video, talking about favorite items, talked about website screenshots and discounts with like like the ad is actually a picture of the cart with the discount in it, which is great. Sorry to anyone who bought last week, our boss, our warehouse kind of ad. Any other ones that you guys want to call out that like did really well that you think, man, that was a really good concept. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, I mean, the ones listed here are ones that worked across like several ad accounts. So not just making up one that I saw, but the founder video crushed. Whether it was them in the warehouse talking about the promo and showing some of the specific things that they liked, or them just like talking about their favorite items. That was really solid. To use, like the one that you said about website screenshots, like those are easy to do. Like you take a screenshot, you go into Instagram stories, you slap the overlays on, you export and go into the ad account. I was making those all weekend and I kept telling our team, like, if you need more, just tell me what product and I will get them to you. The Sorry To, saw that in a ton. I think it's a meme on Twitter right now, where everybody's talking about how that's the new Adams ad, that it's not expensive or it's not cheap or whatever. Yeah, so that's funny. We saw like the whiteboard ugly ad kind of thing. I saw a lot more whiteboards than I saw Post-it notes this year. I don't know if that's interesting, but that stood out. And then one which is like very simple, but I saw across like solid gift giving brands. It's like the exact same shot, but like across several brands is like people holding the product in front of a Christmas tree, like up just in front of a Christmas tree. Very simple to do. You could probably do it with Gemini in 4 seconds. So like if you still need, I don't know when this is going up. I think there's still a little bit of time before the shipping cutoff, but like slap it into Gemini and get it in front of a Christmas tree. Damn it, it's working. And like that,
Yeah,
that
that
across
was
like 7 accounts. Like it's not like
that
it's
was
different.
a
It's literally the same shot.
takeaway on Foxwell Founders too. Was just like putting it in front of some holiday. Like take the thing, put it in front of it, take it on your iPhone, done. Zach, any concepts that really crushed for you guys?
This like sorry to all hunters who bought socks last week, but Hollow just dropped this sale. Whatever. That's basically it. I mean, like we have one of those concepts that spent 90 grand over that weekend, which is just ridiculous. So, I don't know, keep it simple. Like I think that whenever you run sales, you have to run those concepts. We run them in statics, we run them in GIFs, we run them as like AI hunter guy sitting in a stand, like with that text over it that looks like an organic Instagram story post.
Yeah, well, it's funny
Um,
you say that because I was just gonna say like I made a joke about how you shouldn't just like slap an overlay on top of your evergreen top performer, which like I mostly agree with, but something that we did see working well, kind of to your point, is like having either the Instagram or the TikTok like comment reply. But the question is, will you be having a Black Friday sale? And then the hook, the actual voiceover is yes, but then it goes into the rest of the normal video. So it wasn't just like add an overlay on top. It was a little bit of customization that did really well.
we have a photo of like a bunch of orders in like a cardboard, like Gaylord, the big like box that they all go in for U.S. Postal Service, whoever's picking them up, and then like a fork truck, and it literally just says like, we overstocked on alpaca socks, buy 2 get 2 free, ripped 30 grand in spend at one ad. So I don't know.
It's like,
Sometimes
okay.
like you just gotta keep it simple with the offers, with the offer concepts over the holiday period. We also had one that was just like a big 50, just like literally just said 50, and it was like percent off with like a little text below it, and that was it. So I think sometimes like this year it proved like consumer wanted the best deal. And so whoever had the best deal and threw it in your face and made sure that the offer was on the front end, it worked better. I think came through in what we saw in performance.
How was App 11 for you guys? Did it hold steady? I heard obviously a lot of good stories about the App 11 team doing a lot of great like care for people and everything over the weekend. What'd you guys see?
Yeah, their team made us like a bunch of interactive cards and they did really well. I wouldn't say they were top spenders, but like it definitely helped us add volume in a couple of those accounts. But a couple of the specific examples, we saw App11 spend something like 20 to 30% of what Meta did at slightly better efficiency. What's still not super clear because we haven't run like holdouts or anything at this point is how much of that is completely net new. The new visitor percentage is a little bit lower on it, but it sounds like in the conversations that I've had with them, and I've seen some posts, I think Marin posted something with this. It's like, if you look at the individual ads inside of AppLovin, their new visitor percentage is much higher. There's just a higher frequency on AppLovin. And so that kind of drives that new visitor percentage down. But we saw performance do really well. The specific things that worked were adding the end card to be like aggressive on the promo. I don't know if our episode with Miranda will be out at this point, but like she was like, if you don't have an offer in your end card, in your interactive card, your click-through rate is going to be literally half of what it should be. And so like that, we saw that to be true during Black Friday. So interactive cards where they had like some actual animation to them and some motion to it, those crushed. And the offer super clear. But yeah, App Oven was solid.
Yeah,
True.
no, it's really we spent some dollars behind it. Definitely nothing near Meta, but it was great. I think did we spend equal to, let's look, equal to Google?
I have a App Lovin agency. I charge on percentage of spend.
I mean, if you're gonna
so-
run an agency, just send me the best performers from Meta, even though that's not necessarily proven anymore. That was what worked last year, and then just fire them up. It's like branded search. It's
Yeah.
great.
Anything else that you guys want to call out that you feel like was big? I'll just call out too. Definitely I've heard from a lot of people recently as well that they're loving the podcast. So appreciate you doing that. If you really do love it, please rate this podcast because it does help us. I think we're the number 7 most popular podcast in Argentina for marketing right now. So that's how we climb these charts. Okay. So I just want to call that out real quick before we say goodbye. But anything else you guys want to talk about?
Hey, yes, I would like to add on to that. We have a couple of team members in Argentina that listen, so it's probably them holding us up. So shout out to them. They're awesome. So yeah, that's all I have to add.
Thank you to your Brad's team members.
Yeah, for our tens of listens. No, I think overall, it was a different BFCM. It felt a little different. I don't think it was like the same rinse and repeat that we've done historically. I think brands were more aggressive. People were sending more emails, more texts. Offers were bigger. So I think like for those of the brands and the people that didn't see as big of a win, which we had a few, like again at Homestead, I think on average it was everybody was up, but I think we definitely had a few that were either flat or even slightly down year over year with top line. Just know like it was a tough year. It was a tough one. So I think like you're not alone if that's the case. And obviously it's fun to share wins like we are in this, but it was definitely a kind of a brutal run up. I know like the first half of November was tricky for a lot of brands, including us. So
Shopify, No Commerce had a sweet live tracker. Like everything looked like it was up 20% in revenue year over year. What we don't know is how much more people spent, and we have no idea what people were doing with discounts. And so like as that information starts to come out, like if you were down, don't freak out. Because like revenue is a very it's an important factor, but it's not the only factor. So we will get more information as things go on, I'm sure.
What are you guys moving forward? What are you going to do now?
yeah, we run the same offer basically that we kick off Black Friday through shipping cutoff. Yeah, I think it's through the 14th this year on Sunday. But yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, just not overthinking it. I think the come down from the holiday sale this year is going to be tough because even for the health and wellness brands that we have insight into, those brands are getting cooked right now, coming out of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'd prepare to like lower your expectations after that shipping cutoff in case you're having like an absolute banger of a year. Taking your profits now, but store those for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, you can use the flash sale thing. Like if you're listening to this before the cutoff, like use it. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
So let it rip. And then I think as you start to reflect on like what worked for Black Friday, obviously plan that for next year. You can pull it forward into other promos. From an ad side specifically, like we're just trying to group learnings into like what ad formats worked, so that way we can take those and pull them forward. If it was an ugly style ad, or it was a organic selfie looking photo, or it was the sorry messaging, it's like can you pivot that into an evergreen message without being like cheesy about it? Like I think there's a lot that you can do. So just like go bucket them into groups, see what worked on across the board, and then try to pull it forward into everything that you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. And as always, let us know if you need anything. Andrew at foxwelldigital.com. I can get the message to the guys if you have questions. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll look forward to the next time.
This episode is brought to you by the Foxwell Founders membership that Andrew and his wife Gracie run. It has been absolutely pivotal for not just the Homestead team, but the Easy Street Brands team. We've had, I don't even know how many members are currently in there that are part of our ecosystem. But when it comes to anything from learning ads to understanding what's going on to building an agency to knowing retention, it's been absolutely useful for our team when they get stuck or they need help to just go there and resource all the other experts. So definitely would recommend it for anybody that's looking to, take it a step deeper, try to get a little bit more knowledge on growth marketing and all the world D2C is.
I think one of the most incredible things about it is you can just like open up the Slack group every single day. You can pin your favorite channels for the topics you care most about. And like every day there's going to be somebody who just like, because they want to contribute something valuable to the group, you can go learn something every single day and it's going to be extremely useful. There's some ballers in there that you just get like the benefit of learning from that. Like for the cost, like you couldn't pay them that for their time, but through the membership, like you get access to some incredible people and tons of resources.
I mean, I think the biggest resource to me too is like the events that, Foxwell Founders does. They've been able to do some, even in Wisconsin, even in the boring state of Wisconsin, which is pretty awesome, getting people together in person and able to have really just like honest conversations of what's going on, what's working for them now, where they're at in their business, and knowing that there's going to be, like Brad said, some real killers in the space in this membership that can help and are willing to take the time and help. So that's been a huge part of why a lot of our team have really enjoyed it as well.
And applications are now open if you're looking to join. So
Foxwell Founders, Foxwellfounders.com. Go check it out. Go apply.